Well, hello everybody, and welcome back.
Hi guys.
Good to have you here, Jean.
Thank you.
Good. We are now moving to the second part of the book called the Eiderdown years. You'll explain in a bit. And we'll go to chapter 8, and it's lesson 8, part 1. I blamed myself for my absent father. I blamed my absent father for all my woes. Everything was his fault. The poor guy was so tired of the work he couldn't look at a bunch of little kids, never mind talk to them. It was my responsibility. From the minute I started nursing, I was an adult.
Yep.
What does the Eiderdown years, first of all, stand for?
First of all, none of you know what an eiderdown is because you're all too young. Okay. But an eiderdown was a duo.
Yeah,
So my book is pre-eiderdown, eiderdown for 6 years, post-eiderdown.
that's it.
So when I left on that train with a dog in the guard's van, I got to my folks. I'd crashed my car about 3 days before, so I didn't have a car. And
Oh,
they stayed in the middle of nowhere,
okay.
down at the coast. And me, I went to bed in the bedroom,
Oh,
closed the door. Slammed it. I couldn't slam it very well because it was a sliding door, not a closing one. So it was quite difficult to slam, but I still managed to slam it. Okay. And there I lay for 3 months, literally. Okay. I
feeling sorry for yourself.
stuck in Plum.
Oh, I've never done that.
Stuck in Plum. Stuck in bloody Plum. My dad was to blame for everything. It was all his fault. It was absolute madness when I think back on it now. I mean, 3 months is a long time. Okay.
Yeah,
And somewhere in that time, one or two of my brothers, I don't remember who or which one, decided to get me a second-hand car. So there was a second-hand car because my folks used to have to cadge a lift from people into Scottsboro because they stayed at Baisley,
hmm.
which is south of Pennington. Anyway, one day my dad came along. He ripped open the bedroom door and he said, "No daughter of mine lies crying like this for 3 months over a man. Get up and find yourself a job."
Wow.
So me, I said, "I'll get you. Of course I'll get a blooming job. Who do you think you're talking to?" And I got in my car and I drove all the way down the south coast, nearly into Transkei, all the way up the north coast, nearly into Swaziland or Maputo, and all the Rhodesians had the jobs. So Rhodesia was in a war, height of a war, and everybody came to South Africa, and the Rhodesians had our nurses' jobs. So then I decided to go inland. I'd already run away once before, remember? Went back,
That's it.
madness of man, and I got a job at Escort where I worked for 3 months. Okay. And then I went back.
Oh,
So when you go back into the same relationship, you're nuts. Anyway, I eventually landed up, I went to Gray's in Pietermaritzburg and they said, look, they don't have a job, but they should have one in 3 months. So they'll put my name on the list. So I continued to drive inland and I passed Escort and I went to Newcastle. And Newcastle had a job. So I moved into Newcastle's nurses' home and I started the job in a surgical ward.
okay.
And then it was very interesting because, like, in the first week, the doorbell rang and I was called to the door, and there was a lady there, and she said, I've been sent by the minister from Bedfordview, and I've just come to give you a tip. I know if I talk to you, you're going to cry and you're at work, so I'm not going to talk. So here's a tip. You've got two hands. Choose one for God and one for John. And I looked at her like she was mad. She said, which hand are you choosing? So I said, okay, I'll choose this one for God and this one for John. She says, so the hand for God, you're going to hold on to it and you're going to hold on to God. And the hand for John, you're going to let open. So all day long, I want you to walk away, wake up, be aware, hanging on to God with one hand and letting go of John. Goodbye, left. I have no idea of her name, but she sure did help. Because me, I went back into the ward thinking she is nuts. But I have to try something.
Yes.
And I was there for 3 months. And in those 3 months, I held on to God with my one hand and let go of John with the other. There were
Beautiful.
many days that I found myself with this hand closed and this one open.
Wow.
Okay. So
Beautiful.
I had to become very aware of that, but it did help. And there was a young girl that trained at the Joburg Gym. She was only 21. I mean, I'm old by now. I'm in my 30s. And she was very charismatic Christian. So every night she got out her guitar and she sang choruses to me. And instead of crying, I sang along with her, even though I can't sing a note. Okay. So that was great. I also had another friend there, which trained with me at the Joburg Gym. And she was a predestination Baptist. So I don't know if you guys know what a predestination Baptist is, but I'd never heard of them.
We just know Baptists.
So a predestination Baptist is God chooses you that you're going to belong to Him when you're born. So I had never ever heard of that in my life. Okay.
Oh, aren't we all predestined then? Because God chooses all of us when we're born.
Well, I realize that now, but I didn't know
Yeah.
that then. Okay.
Okay.
So it was just interesting because I'd never heard of those two things. And the lady that came to the door was an absolute angel. I can tell you right now, wherever she is, if she's alive or dead, or if she told her family, please know she was an angel. I can only thank her. And 3 months later, I was called down to Grace. Okay. When they interviewed me on the first time, they asked me where I wanted to work. I said, I don't want to work in theatre, even though I'm theatre trained. And I certainly don't want to work in labour ward,
Yes.
even though I'm midwifery trained.
You don't like that.
So when they called me down there, where did you think they put me to work?
ICU?
Theatre.
Theatre. Oh, gosh.
So there I am in theatre, crying like a baby again. Every time a surgeon shouts at me, every time he throws a swab or an instrument at me, I'm just crying. So after a couple of weeks, I think it was maybe just a month, I found myself in labour ward. Now, how does that go with what you resist persists?
Absolutely.
A big lesson. And I was in labour ward for a while when a post became vacant in neonatal ICU. So I went into neonatal ICU. And there started my Eiderdown years. Now, you can answer me this, because when I worked there, the people, and I'm still in touch with about 14 of them today, thought I was the most wonderful thing out. So where did my plum, poor little old me, and my ego come from, and where did they see spirit within me, and how? Because me, as far as I'm concerned, I was stuck in plum. For me, it was pure ego. It was ego that got me under the Eiderdown, and ego that kept me there for 6 years. Yet they saw something different.
Else. Amazing.
How did that work?
Amazing.
How did that work?
They see what they are.
They see what they are. Well, that's interesting. Okay.
Like
all of those are good oaks that I know.
Yeah. Like what we go around, we only see in people the level of what we are. So
interesting.
if we're scum, we only see scum. If we are light and awake and aware, we see that potential in people, even if they're not there.
They must have seen the potential, but me, I wasn't there. I don't know where I was, but me, I wasn't there.
Yes, they see the potential. Like when you go around now, don't you see the potential in everybody?
Yes, I do. I might first see the devil in them, okay, but it only lasts a few seconds.
Exactly.
Oh, that's interesting. So I made many good friends there that I'm still in touch with now. But those years, if you ask me about them, they were just torture.
And what was the time that you became that adult?
You mean what?
When was that time when you just decided?
When I woke up, when I had an awakening experience in that nursery. So would you like me to tell you about that now?
Yeah, go for it.
So there I was busy crying. They gave me a flat because we moved from the old Grace to the new Grace. So we had a brand new hospital and I had a brand new flat all of my own, a 1-bedroom flat. I never opened the wardrobe for 6 years, okay, because the skeleton in it was probably this big, but it was actually this big.
Yes.
So I never opened it. I lived out my suitcase, put my dirty uniforms into my suitcase. Once a week I drove down to my folks' house, screamed and shouted at my mother and father, behaved like a child, and went back to work. Okay. So somewhere there along the line, 6 years later, I went to a church there, and that was the guy that he also got me out because I knew that I needed help. So he ended up counseling in a caravan. And I went to see him and I told him my story. I said, this is the story. And he was very kind and he spoke to me and he spoke to me the second week, the third week, the fourth week. The fifth week, I think he said to me, listen, you've got to do 3 things. Otherwise, you mustn't come back and see me because we've gone on now for 5 weeks and there's no improvement in you.
Yes.
So you have 3 things that you go and do, okay? And then you can come back and see me. So I was so furious that I slammed his caravan door on the way out.
Wow.
The caravan didn't fall down, okay? But on that particular day, about 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 10 weeks earlier, a 19-year-old from Empangeni, and I wish I could find the son today. Anybody know him? Can let me know. A young 19-year-old girl arrived into our antenatal ward, and she had a huge, big eye tumor, eye growing out of her head, big malignant cancer tumor. And, you know, in my days, you played the game. If you were pregnant, you had a big white wedding and nobody, it was normal. And then 3 months later, you produced a 9-pound baby. It was Prem.
Yes.
That's the game we played.
Yes.
Anyway, so she was admitted into our ward. In my days, 28 weekers were viable. So even though some 27 weekers made it, 28 week was viable. And she lay in our antenatal ward every day with this tumor getting bigger, growing out of her eye, and every day having seizures.
Wow.
And after I left that minister's caravan, and I was on duty at 1 o'clock, and I walked into neonatal ICU, and there sitting next to an incubator, as white as a sheet, big tumor growing out of her eye. I have never seen another one like that in my life. She had seizures every day. It was sitting, a fresh seizure scar, dripping in her arm, white as a sheet, sitting next to an incubator. And in the incubator was a 607-gram baby and 27-week baby, her little boy. So he was this big.
Wow.
And in an instant, I was hitting my solar plexus. It was like, take that and that and that. You've got 2 eyes, two arms, 2 legs, and you're wanting to die. And this young girl is 19 and she's dying and wanting to live.
Yeah.
And I was conscious in an instant.
In an instant.
In an instant, I was conscious. She died 3 weeks later. The baby went home 4 months later with the dad. And me, my Eiderdown was folded up, but the cupboard was open. And I was ready to dance with life.
Absolutely.
In an instant.
In an instant.
Yeah.
Eh?
I don't know if my colleagues ever noticed that. I've no idea. I should ask them today. And that was me. I was ready to live again.
Sure. That's the grace
So
of God.
She died to save my life. Another angel.
Yeah.
Absolutely died to save my life. And her son and her husband need to know that.
Wonderful.
Anybody tells them, that's that story. And it's true as true as true as true.
Well, at some time, we all have to get into that space of growing up, taking responsibility, and becoming an adult. And if we don't, maybe the universe is going to shake us to make sure that we do.
We're going to die and leave everybody crying even louder.
Exactly. Wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that, Jean. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Until next time, everybody. Goodbye.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye.